So I'm having to call it a day in Australia. There's some times in life where you just have to accept you're beaten, and this is one of these times. Like, I've just been defeated at the moment by factors out with my control, and I just have to accept that and try and find some way of moving on. Basically, this situation with my passport has really fucked me. Like, it's fucked me so badly. It's fucked my Australia cycle, and it's fucked my cycle across America, and it's basically fucked the entire cycle around the world because I can't finish it now. And long story short, passport got water damage somehow, even though it was in a case inside my bag, and it's not been raining in Australia and I've been here. So I had to go for an emergency passport, and part of the emergency passport process is, so basically the reason I couldn't get another passport is it takes 6 weeks to get a passport out here in Australia. That's what the embassy told me. I don't have 6 weeks. I couldn't even stop for 6 weeks if I wanted to, and I just don't have the resources of it. I can't just stop somewhere for 6 weeks. It's just, I just can't do that, especially for the timeline of getting back to the UK for Christmas and being in the UK at the beginning of 2020 for my plans for next year. And so emergency passport was the only option, and to get an emergency passport you have to book all your travel and show them all your proof of travel all the way back to the UK, which meant I had to book all my flights all the way home. I knew I can't go to America with an emergency passport, so the only other option was Canada. At the time I thought, right, I'll go and cycle across Canada, so I booked my flights out of Australia from Brisbane to Canada, booked flights, and then return travel to Europe, and to even the boat to back to the UK as well from France. But I booked it 2 weeks in advance, thinking I'd have plenty of time to get the emergency passport. It only takes 2 days to get it, and then cycle from Melbourne to Brisbane and finish the Australia cycle. But the passport took so long, and I was waiting something else as well that just never came through in time. And so basically things just gone against me. Everything that could have went against me recently has, and I just never had time to. So basically now I had like 4 days to cycle 1,300 miles to Brisbane, so it's not happening. Just had to accept defeat. So flying to Brisbane from Melbourne tomorrow, so I can make my flight out of Australia on the 19th, and that flight is going to Canada. I just had to book a flight. Like, I literally couldn't get an emergency passport unless I had flights booked, so I just had to book Canada. At the time I thought I'll go and cycle across Canada, not really thinking too much about the actual practicalities of cycling across Canada in December in the winter. And so that's what I done, and booked that flight, because I couldn't book America. I couldn't go to America with an emergency passport. There's literally done Europe, done Asia, Australia, there's nowhere else to go. I'm trying to cycle around the world. Can't I just go to Africa or South America on a whim? You need to really plan that, and I just didn't have the time. And so booked Canada, and then now the more I thought about it since then, after doing that process, it's not even a stupid idea to cycle across Canada. It's a dangerous idea. I've been tracking the weather. It's already like -10, -15 in some places. It's already starting to snow. The chances of me being able to cycle across Canada 4,000 miles in December and like up to -30, -40 in the snow, it's just not going to happen. It's actually dangerous. I could probably die doing that. So I'm now faced with a situation where I've given so much of myself this year. I've tried so fucking hard to cycle around the world, and I'm now faced with a situation where I can't, and I'm just having to accept that. And so it looks like I'm obviously going to go to Canada because that's where the flight's booked to, but it looks like I'm going to have to fly from Canada back to the UK or Europe, because I can't cycle across Canada in the winter. It's just dangerous. So that's the situation. Factors out with my control going against me, and as I said, I've tried my best. Like, I've really tried my best. To anybody who's followed me this year, you will know that I've tried so hard. Like, I cycled literally every mile from Edinburgh all the way to 500 miles within Beijing, then got caught out because of my visa. I think everybody knows what I've done this year. If my visa for China was fine, I would have cycled to Beijing. I'd have done the Korea, Japan like I done. I cycled across half of Australia in 10 days. If I never had the situation with my passport, I would have always done the other half and maybe another 10, 12 days, and I would have cycled across Australia in less than 30 days. And if I was able to go to America coming off the form of Australia, I would have quite clearly cycled across America, no bother. So it's a wee bit sad. It's disappointing because I knew I would have done it, but I'm just up against it now, and it's just not going to happen. So I just have to deal with that. The one thing that is getting me through this, or two things that I'm trying to focus on. First of all, I think one of the things that I also had this experience in Australia recently, which I've not went into too much in detail, but obviously involved a girl, as you can probably tell, but I'm not going to discuss the details because it involves another person. That experience was one of the best experiences of my life, and struggled a lot since then just because it was hard saying goodbye and just the nature, just long story. But one of the things that did teach me is that week when it was just like, you know, I realised this year I've been so focused on cycling, it's just like cycling and thinking about the goals and Tour de France and going pro and all that stuff that's coming in the next few years. And I realised that, you know, there's actually more to life than cycling, and if I don't cycle around the world, it's alright. Like, as long as I'm happy and healthy and have my family, that's really all that matters in life, and I will try my best to do things over and above that, but that's the first thing that's getting me through it. As long as I'm actually happy, healthy and alive and well, that's all that matters. The second thing is that cycling around the world for me it was always more a means to an end. I never grew up born like I want to cycle around the world. I wanted to find something from it. I wanted to learn something. I wanted to find out, like, what am I going to do in my life, like why am I here, all those sort of questions, and I'm so clear in that now. The path for my life is so clear. I know exactly what I'm going to do next year. I know what my goals are. I know what my focus is. Like, I want a race. I want a road race. I want to be a pro cyclist, and that is my dream. That's my ultimate dream, career and work-wise. And that's what the next 20 years of my life are going to look like. So I now know that. So if I don't get to cycle around the world now, then that's fine, because I know I tried my best and I know what the next chapter looks like, and I'm clear in that. And at the end of the day, I have tried my best. I've tried my absolute best, and the one thing that I'm going to try and do to finish on a high for this year is when I get back to the UK in about a week's time, I'm going to try and, this is what I'm thinking at the moment, I'm just venting thoughts, I'm going to try and do like a mega cycle in the UK, because I've done just under 12,000 miles. To cycle around the world you need to hit 18,000 miles, and like, geographically I can't cycle around the world, but if I still want to hit 18,000 miles, that would be nice for me. Nice way to end the year. So my plan is when I get back to the UK, try and do like a fucking absolute mental 6,000 mile cycle in the UK, just like literally just hit every town and city, go across Ireland, Highlands, Wales, South, just literally just fucking go everywhere in the UK. Try and meet as many people who have been following and supporting me, sponsors, people like that. Just try and see as many people as possible in the final month. Get a really good final month in, finish in a high, hit 18,000 miles, arrive in Edinburgh, back home with my family, in the city that I love so much, after an incredible year which has transformed my life, and I hope other people have enjoyed following, and then sets me up for 2020 and this new mission of trying to become a pro cyclist and win the Tour de France, which is everything that's going to happen for the future and everything that I want to do in my working career. So as you can tell, I am gutted about this, I'm disappointed, and you can tell by the fact I'm trying to justify it probably more to myself more than anybody else. The fact that I'm just trying to justify it so much, it is painful, it is hurtful, but as I said, I've tried my best, and at the end of the day there is more to life than cycling. As long as I arrive safe back in Edinburgh, I can be with my family and I've got my health, that's really all that matters, and knowing that I tried my best, excited for the future. And one thing I will end by saying is that we know that this is unfinished business. I will have to come and cycle around the world again at some point and do that, but that's maybe something I can do when I retire for being a pro cyclist and I'm doing more cycles that are fun. So it'll be nice for me, maybe when I'm in my 40s or 50s, to come and do it again and retrace the route and think what's happened in the last 20 years. But I will definitely do it, but just not for now. But this video's gone on well too long, so I'm just going to wrap it up. I'm out here, I'm trying my best, and that's all I can do. That's all I can do.